Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. I'm making this video and I'm going to just multitask with this because I don't have enough time today to really sit down and make a video with the work that I got to do. So I'm going to be multitasking while I'm talking to you, but this is very important. I just got off a call with a client where I'm arranging a settlement for this client. It's on a Discover card. Now, there's a law firm that's handling the case. I didn't speak directly with the attorney, but I did put in a call now to speak directly with the attorney because I believe that the representative that I spoke with, I won't mention her name, but that she was very confused about what the process when a settlement is accepted. So this is what we negotiated a settlement. The goal of this with the client is that he just doesn't want to have a judgment placed on his in his name. And that's some clients are like, hey, I'd rather not go to court, make a settlement, and we would move forward from there. He had spoke with them earlier in the month, which if you ever call my office and I ask you, have you spoken to the collector or whoever, the attorney or whoever's handling the account, you got to be 100% upfront with us. Because if you don't, it can throw wrenches all up in there because it can make us look like we're not communicating with our client. It could just make it look ugly. But so, long story short, the client did talk with them, so that's fine. That's fine. And they client is probably you know who you are. You watching this, so I've already kind of went over this with you. But they ended up coming back with a settlement offer less than what the client had previously, that I didn't know about, had also had offered to him. So we were way under what they had offered before. But here is where the problem came in that made me reach out to the attorney that's managing the firm, is that his rep still believes that even if this payment is made, that they would still seek a judgment and then put satisfaction of judgment on there. And her basis on that, which I already know that this isn't true, so it's not something that you got to go look up. I'm just telling you what you're going to have to do if you run into this situation. I'm going to give you two things. First, you need to get to an upper level of more than just a rep level for the collection firm that's handling it. And this is with an original creditor, so that's the reason why. You got to get to an upper level that knows what's going to be going on when it goes to court, not someone that's just on the phone trying to collect on the debt. The next thing is that if a settlement is accepted, now her reasoning was that the client didn't give enough time to have them accept the settlement money and do enough time to inform the court that they're not going to go proceed with a judgment order. That's BS. I don't care what state you live in. The normal process is, if it's close to the date, then if a settlement was arranged and it's paid, even if it's not paid, this individual rep for this firm, I don't think she knows what she's talking about. I think that what she's used to doing is just trying to get people emotional. And just to back up a little bit, if my client was on the phone with this individual, he or she, my client, would have ended up probably cussing this lady out. But because I deal with this all the time, I know how they try to get people emotional. I know the different words and buzzwords and how they've been trained on saying certain things to try to elevate people's emotions. I know to just hold myself and just ask questions, to not get emotionally involved or charged up in the conversation. So the regular protocol, I don't care where you're at in all 50 states, if until that hearing date for either to be heard if you have a defense or heard if it's just a hearing date, if an arrangement has been made, they can dismiss, the attorney that goes there can dismiss it. If an attorney does not show up, then with the defense at that point, which will automatically get the case dismissed, if you show up and they have nothing but what they turned in to the court and you have a defense against what they turned in to the court, you would be able to get your case dismissed or at minimum held over, because they got to have someone there to represent them. Now, they might try to play this game where we didn't have enough time. How many times have people tried to play that game saying that they didn't have enough time? So don't believe them when they say that type of stuff. You show up. Even if this settlement ends up going through, I would still have my client show up there. And I would have my client show up there with two things. I would have my client show up there, and when they called his name, he would have the paperwork for defense. And then if the judge will always say, if you would like to work out an arrangement and we don't have to go through this whole court thing, would you like to, sit aside for 15 minutes or whatever, and then come together with an arrangement? That's the way that it could be done. And then when they come out, if the arrangement is done and satisfied on the spot, especially on the spot, they would just dismiss the case. So I don't know why that person would be thinking that way. I don't know, but I did reach out to the attorney that is managing the firm to get me some answers on, how do they want us to proceed. So let me give you a solution. Let me give you a quick solution. So let's just say that what I'm doing here is that everyone who signs up with Credit Repair Shop for the services gets my book here. This book here tells you how the credit system works, tells you how it works. So when you get your credit fixed, you're going to know how it works, so you can make sure that you maximize your ability to be able to have the highest score possible, because you'll know how the system works. Too many people don't know how it works. So here are the options. Knowing that the client does not want to get a judgment, that's like the ultimate goal, because there are some people that would say, hey, I just want to fight it all the way, win or lose. He doesn't want to get a judgment placed in his name. So what I would do in that situation is you would go ahead and go to court. You have your response ready. Tell the court in advance that you're going to defend yourself. You have that ready. You turn that in. And if the plaintiff attorney does not show up, you ask for a dismissal based off of that. Because if you're going to defend yourself, someone has to be there for you to defend yourself against. They can't just have a piece of paper sitting there. Now, some judges will hold it over for whatever reason. I don't know why. Some of them buddy, whatever. Don't let them hear me say that, but they will hold it over and say, we're going to, have this hearing again, give people time to get scheduled, and then have it 30, 45 days later. I've even had it where some people said a year later, which is crazy. But that's normally when the attorney is there and then they don't have all the documents and stuff, and they'll just push it out a year, hoping that the person will forget. So what I told them is, let's prepare your response, your defense, and have it ready. They call your name. If you already let them know you're going to defend yourself, they call your name. You have your defense submitted, the response to the court summons. If they're not there, ask for dismissal of the case. If they are there, and with your goal of not having a judgment, this is an original creditor debt, go to the back room, make the settlement, and if you have the money right there on the spot, which he will, he could just sign off on it, give them the money. They can dismiss it. Maybe they won't dismiss right away. They might say, well, let the funds clear, then we'll dismiss it. That's how they might do it. I've even had it with payments, but they didn't. At least the rep said that with payments that they would not release it. That's fine. That's fine. Sometimes they like to get the judgment to hold that over people's head. But I've never had any situation where you pay the settlement and then they say that they're going to still put a judgment and say satisfied. That's BS. I don't care. And if they are starting to do that in certain areas, then it is a bad day for people, because how can you resolve something and then still be have the punishment put on top of you? I would consider that like double punishment on people, because if you're not the punishment not on paying, because that's your obligation, but another penalty on top of it. Because what is the settlement for? You might as well let them get the judgment, and then you can work out stuff from that. You might as well just fight. See, you might be able to potentially win on a technicality. So I wanted to just make this quick video on that, because that is very confusing, and I will make an update video after I do speak with the attorney that's handling the overall file on this case to just let you know. But if you ever run into a rep, number one, be very careful, because they use buzzwords. You can look online for the different buzzwords. They'll use words like, why don't you pay your debt, which is borderline harassment. They will ask you questions about your expenses and the way that they ask those expenses. And then when they add them up, they'll say, well, it looks like you have this amount disposable income. We all know that when you add up your stuff and you say, well, this is disposable income, that's a technical word, but we all know that you could say you had $5,000 a month and all of your regular bills added up to be $4,000. They would consider $1,000 disposable income. Well, we all know where that disposable income goes to other stuff that you got to take care of, stuff for the household loan, take care of yourself, gas, all that stuff. Believe it or not, they do not consider those types of things disposable expenses when they're adding up your expenses. So be very careful when dealing with these people. All right, if you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch video, what makes us different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my two-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com to grab your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports and all 3 scores. Links are below this video. If you have debt collectors coming after you early, even if it's an original creditor, I'm going to make an adjustment on that. But especially for third-party debt collectors, grab my 3-pack of letters. Only thing you need to change if it's a original creditor using an attorney is that you want to make that attorney attest to everything that original creditor said. They have a responsibility to do that. So even to go back a little bit, I should have mentioned this. Even with that debt collection company handling the case, you have a right to dispute everything, any part or whatever, to make that debt collector firm have to get all the documentation from the original creditor to prove the amount that they're coming into court claiming that you owe. All right, thank you for your time. Please subscribe to the channel, post your questions and comments. This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com. Have a great day.